Hey everyone, welcome back to the Blanket Boy channel, and this ain't a review. There are so many reviewers who have done this before me and did it way better. But I did want to talk about this figure and highlight how good it looks. I decided that an interesting way I could make this video is by turning it into a brief overview of the history of the character, and I'll just be showing off the figure in the background while I do that. So, sit back and get ready for a little history lesson. The Immortal Iron Fist has gone by many names in history. In fact, there have been 60 men and women to carry the mantle of the Immortal Iron Fist throughout the ages. Men and women of great courage, valor, skill, and sacrifice. And the Iron Fist we're looking at today is the most well-known, Danny Rand. Danny Rand's story begins before he was even born. His father, Wendell Rand, happened upon Kunlun, the mystical city hidden in the Himalayas. Kunlun is a lost city located in a pocket dimension and is one of the 7 capital cities of heaven. Danny's father, Wendell, grows up there and begins to make a name for himself in the art of martial arts. The gate to Kunlun only appears on Earth every 10 years, and Danny's father decides to leave and return to the human world and eventually becomes a wealthy entrepreneur. Easy mode. Wendell has a wife and child and now wants to return to the city with his family and friend. He organizes an expedition back to Kunlun, and during the journey, Danny and his mother slip and fall off the path. As Wendell attempts to help them, it is revealed that his friend and business partner Meacham is in love with Danny's mom and pushes Wendell off the cliff down a deep crevice. Meacham expresses his love and offers to help Danny and his mother, but she refuses. Meacham leaves to be seen another day. Danny and his mother attempt to find their way back down the mountain. They find a makeshift bridge that seemingly appears out of nowhere, and they realize they are being hunted by a pack of wolves as well. Danny's mother sacrifices herself to the wolves as Danny makes his way across the bridge. Archers from Kunlun kill the wolves, but not in time to save Danny's mom. And a young Danny sits there, with no parents, no family, no future. The archers take young Danny to see Ut, the hooded ruler of Kunlun. Danny is adopted, and is raised similarly to his father. Unlike his father, however, Danny trains hard enough and proves himself worthy of the Iron Fist test. A 19-year-old Danny is given the chance to attain the power of the Iron Fist by fighting and defeating the dragon Xiaolao the Undying, who guards the molten heart torn from its body. During his fight, Danny deduces that the heart provides life energy to Xiaolao through the dragon-shaped scar on the dragon's chest. Danny covers the scar with his own body and holds on until Xiaolao collapses, burning the scar on his chest in the process. Danny defeats Xiaolao and enters the cave the dragon was guarding. There, he plunges his fist into a brazier containing the creature's molten heart, emerging with the power of the Iron Fist. Danny, given the choice to leave the city, decides he wants revenge on his father's killer. And well, that's how he gets to New York, and that's how all of his stories really begin. From there, Danny Rand does quite a bit, but while I think the origin of this hero is genuinely interesting, I also think the conception of this character is just as fascinating. Because he probably shouldn't be a character, but he is. Creators Roy Thomas and Gil Kane got much of their inspiration from the first kung fu movie they had ever seen, King Boxer, aka Five Fingers of Death. Thomas wrote that in the movie King Boxer there was a thing called the Ritual of the Iron Fist, and he thought to himself, it was a pretty cool name. Marvel already had a master of kung fu going on, Shang-Chi, which we'll see in the MCU pretty soon. So, Thomas ran the name by Stan Lee. Stan liked it and gave him the go-ahead. Thomas ran Gil Kane, and together with the influences from the film King Boxer and influences from a comic hero named John Amon, also known as Amazing Man, Iron Fist was born. And wouldn't you know it, the English dub version released through Warner Brothers was the film that launched the craze for kung fu movies in the United States. I've never seen old kung fu films before, so I watched the dub version on YouTube, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I can definitely see how people would start a craze over it too. The first issues of Iron Fist are a lot older than me, but after reading a few of those issues I can safely say that the art and writing holds up for the most part. It's still pretty interesting. Danny's origin holds up as being both heroic and unique. Iron Fist got his own comic series for a while, but like everything, it did not last forever. Once the Iron Fist solo series was starting to dwindle, Marvel decided to team up with another dwindling series, Luke Cage's Power Man. Since then, Danny Rand and Luke Cage have formed a beloved friendship in the comics, and some of my favorite stories include the both of them. They are most famously known for their crime-fighting duo/team, Heroes for Hire. and it would be a shame if Mezco didn't make a Luke Cage companion for this figure. Danny Rand's other companions include his sometimes love interest, Misty Knight, and trusted ally, Colleen Wing. And I think these characters are a really interesting subset of Marvel characters. They're relatively smaller scale in the Marvel universe, which lets them have more human stories. But Danny's connection to Kunlun also allows him to have crazy stories, including the 7 capital cities of heaven. The last Iron Fist story I read is probably Iron Fist's best story. The Immortal Iron Fist released in November of 2006 and lasting into August 2009. It is a 27-issue run that beautifully encapsulates the best the character has to offer. It expands on the origins of Danny Rand and his relationships with those in Kunlun, while also grounding him in a real New York. I have to say that we also get to see a few stories of previous Iron Fists and are introduced to one of the coolest ones, Orson Randall, who focuses his Iron Fist chi into the form of bullets instead of punches. Overall, I think it just captures a good Iron Fist story. So, my recommendations. From what I've read, from what I've started, I would definitely recommend the storyline from 2006, as well as the original Marvel premiere in 1972, and my personal favorite, The Boys Are Back in Town comic run from 2016. The art on that one is just really unique. Getting to the figure before we wrap up here, and while this isn't the super classic big collar open chest look for Iron Fist, I think it probably is the most realistic. Looking similar to Bruce Lee's Game of Death yellow jumpsuit, which Mezco already sorta did. So in a world where Danny Rand is a master of martial arts, I'm glad he looks more like this. He also looked like this in the comics at one point too, so it's accurate to some extent. And I gotta say, I love this figure so much, especially after the research I did. I've grown to appreciate the character, which just helps me like this more. I guess the only cons I have is that his bulge is maybe a bit aggressive, but that might be a pro to some. But the real con I have is that he doesn't come with a masked head with a screaming face. That is a letdown, because a lot of the poses you can get with him, which are a lot, kind of lose their aggressiveness when he just has the stern face. But that's my only con, really. I would love to see Mezco make an Orson Randall figure as well as Luke Cage. That would be pretty dope. I hope you enjoyed this unorthodox way of reviewing a figure. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. It costs you nothing. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.